Hi everyone, I want to show you 3 different ways of sculpting the face. Let's go. Sculpting the face. There's about 3 different ways you can sculpt the face. They are sculpting in the rounds, building the profile, and working from the planes of the face. We're going to start off with sculpting in the round. We pretty much work with the round ball of the head. You add the chin and you add the details from there. It's a quicker, easier way of sculpting, but it is an easy way to get lost while sculpting. You can easily get proportions wrong and not know where to work from if you've got no markers. With sculpting a head, you work 3 ways. You've got the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary. Primary being the main features of the head, which is the skull and the chin. That's your primary. The secondary would be your eyes, your nose, and your ears. And then your tertiary would be the details, i.e. the folds of the skin, the wrinkles around the eyes, etc. If you work in that order, you can't go too wrong with the sculpture. If you start focusing on the tertiary before you do the primary, you're going to get things wrong because it's going to be completely out of balance and the proportions will be wrong. This is something I've picked up from Jordu Shao, who's a famous sculptor. He pretty much sculpts in the rounds. It's a much quicker way of working with things. So it really comes down to your preference, where you are in your sculpting, and we can go from there. So watch the rest and see what ones you prefer. You can kind of see the profile coming out. This is kind of what they teach, I believe, at the Florence Art Academy. You build up the face, you build up the profile, you build up the profile this way, and you build up the profile this way, and you slowly go bit by bit. You know when you look at a coin and you see the silhouette of a person? That's what you're doing right here. You're building it up along the profile and then out the side, bit by bit. It's slower and can be tedious, but does provide a grid or a framework to get a much more accurate sculpt. Combine that with measurements and you're well on your way. Two tips I can help you with. Find someone famous and get someone that's a little bit older. The reason for that is the famous Alfred Hitchcock, there's a whole bunch of photos of him online and it's pretty easy to find the profile around. It's very recognisable, so even if you go off a little bit, most people are going to recognise it. A lot of people that do caricatures are very, very good at understanding the features of a face, so you can look at those imagery and see what they've got available. The second reason why I suggest using someone that's a little bit older is that the features of the face, the jowls, etc. are a lot easier to do when someone's a little bit older. You can kind of get away with a lot more. So if you consider it the easiest being older people, and then the next hardest is going to be males, and then it's going to be young males, and then it's going to be females, younger females, and it's going to go all the way to children. Children are very, very hard to sculpt. I don't even try it because I'm not even good enough to try it yet. So make your life a little bit easier. Find someone that's famous, find someone that's a little bit older, and you might be able to work out their profile and look alike a little bit easier. So let's get back to it. The next method we've got is the planes of the face. These are pretty simple to work out and copy from other versions on the internet. You go and then build on the extra planes of the face, and then you can kind of go to the last stage and add all the details on top of it. It's just a framework to make it a little bit easier to get your sculpture done. It's the same thing as the profile. It gives you a framework that you can work within and develop the face from there. The planes of the face. This is a very geometric, symmetrical sculpt to start with. It gives you a really good framework and a grid to work from and build out the features from thereafter. It can be hard to get the planes of the face right, but if you keep watching others, it's going to be a basic model you can use for a lot of your sculptures. It's a very, very good way of learning to work with. It's not very fast, it does take a bit extra, but it's like the paintings that you see where they do the grids first and draw it out. That's kind of exactly what you're doing here, and you're finding out the proportions exactly, and you get a much more accurate sculpture in it. It's worth a try. If you like it, do it. It's going to take a bit longer. I personally don't like doing it this way. It's a bit tedious. I like sculpting in the rounds, but when you're beginning or you're starting off where you need something that's very accurate in the likeness, this is a really good way of doing it. Combine that with building up the profile, you're going to be well on your way. So enjoy that and let me know below what you think. Hopefully those three methods have given you something to work with and have a crack at going sculpting. Remember, it's just clay, have fun, play with it. The three things really important to remember is primary, secondary and tertiary. What I mean by that is primary, the whole roundness of your face. That's kind of what we call as the primary. Secondary is then building on top of that. That would be building in these extra planes, i.e. the planes around here and the nose, and maybe check on the ears. and then tertiary would be filling in all the little details and going in from there. So have a crack, have fun, and don't forget to like and subscribe, that'd be great. Thank you.